Kansas City at one point in time was looked at one of the new meccas of Black America.
Every American city had one back in those days, a place where it segregated its blacks. And in Kansas City, this was it. The whites called it Colored Town. The blacks called it home.
Where you had Harlem, you had Chicago, you had Lemire Park in Los Angeles, all these places. Kansas City was that, and Kansas City was a central hub. Still has the same geographical relevance because people have to cross through here. And there's just a lot that comes out of Kansas City, whether it be our jazz, our influence on soul, music, rock and roll, our influence on cuisine, and even real estate. You know, it's just here. It's a great launch pad, and people should know that.
Kansas City is a very diverse community. It has diversity of opportunity and living opportunity because we have, you know, a dense downtown, we have suburban areas. It has a lot to offer for anybody who wants to live here.
So we are now a city of over 500,000 people, and people just keep wanting to be here because of all the excitement we've generated with the downtown. We have a wonderful zoo, state-of-the-art zoo. We have Sprint Center, or T-Mobile Center. We have all these great amenities for people to experience.
We have some excellent educational opportunities for people. Park Hill School District, North Kansas City School District, Platte County R3, Liberty School District, and some south of the river are outstanding for people with kids. Excellent higher education institutions are either here or nearby. And it's a growing, thriving community.
We're not married to one industry here. We have so many different things that you can do and learn and join. So yeah, I mean, I think we are very diverse in that respect.
Historical landmarks like this and museums such as the American Jazz Museum are important because they really capture and, like I said before, preserve that history, but the whole purpose of preserving something is so it can be utilized in the future. So when you're talking about children that aren't even born yet, or you're talking about people that have maybe lived through this history and want to come re-experience it, it connects them to that. And as long as we're connected, it helps us to move further and kind of show that next generation where we come from, especially as Black Americans. We all know that our history is different than the diaspora. Sometimes the connection is not there. So things like museums are very important to us because it gives us that connection.
We just came out of the Negro Leagues Museum, and they were talking about how all of the people back then had to stay north of 27th Street. Well, that's no longer true, of course. And you can go and you can live wherever you can afford to live. But back then, of course, that was kind of a dividing line, and Troost was the other dividing line. You couldn't go west over Troost. But now you can go where you want to live wherever your finances can take you, and you can go downtown. I remember when we couldn't go downtown to eat, and if you wanted to get something to eat, you ordered it, and then you stood behind the stools at the counter, and they would give it to you, and you had to take it to eat. But of course now you can go where you want to go. So it's a nice city though.
So after the end of Prohibition, especially around the early 40s, when Kansas City started to kind of close down, some of the major economic sources, especially for creatives, started to move to other places like New York and Chicago. And then we went through the same things as everybody else. Urban renewal, Highway 71 comes right through the main artery of Kansas City. If anybody ever visits here, they notice that the west side of Troost, which is one of our main roads, has a certain neighborhood, predominantly white, upper middle class to upper class. The east side is lower middle class, mostly Black or minorities, people of color. It's a very distinct line. There's actually a book, if anybody wants to check it out, I think it's called Real Estate in Kansas City, 1900 to 2000. And it breaks down how they systematically went through over years and slowly moved people out and moved. Kansas City was kind of like the prototype for redlining.
You know, I think for me, as I continue to learn about Kansas City and the history and the historical context of this place. And then you see the decline, right? So there was once this thriving community and this like beacon of black prosperity that sat in the middle of the country. And for that to go away and now be left with, you know, stats that we're hearing about crime and murder rates, unemployment, etc. I think it's our responsibility, right, to bring back some of the culture and the vibrancy that was once here. We don't always know exactly how amazing Kansas City is and what the culture is. And as soon as I came here and just feeling the music and the art, I think one of our jobs is to make people aware of what is actually already here. I think the second thing is looking at some of the industries that were once thriving here and seeing how we can actually start to create jobs and bring those jobs back.
The industries never went away, they just went underground, you know, a lot of them. So, you know, so it's like, how do we get them to reemerge? So I would definitely say we need to strengthen our entertainment industry. Kansas City not only was known for jazz, but it was a major hub for film supplies and kind of supplying the East and the West with their materials and different stuff like that. So our entertainment industry has really been given a big push over the last 10 years.
The other thing that I've noticed about Kansas City is you had some amazing talent that left the community. And I think now it's about showing that, you know, Venture Noire and most of our members being from outside of the community choosing to come here. Hopefully then it inspires some of that talent that is native to Kansas City to come back home. And I think it's a call back for them. And so that's something I'm really excited about because, you know, as we bring that creativity, right, that cultural talent, right, the creators, right, the imaginers, as they come back, then that means the jobs come back. And as you have jobs, you have a thriving middle class. And you have a thriving middle class, you have people that are buying homes, you have people that are contributing to society, you have people that are you know, purchasing goods, right? You have people that are sending creativity, right, and all of that culture outside, but bringing dollars back into the community. So, you know, for us, it's about improving quality of life. And I think we can do that through job creation, and I think we can do that through making people aware of how magical this place is. You know, Venture Noire's mission is really all about improving black quality of life. To do that, you have to go to the places where the quality of life has sometimes deteriorated a bit. But there's so much still here, right? There's so much energy, there's so much soul, there's so much vibrance, there's so much culture. It's a place that I think we belong, and I think it's a place that we'd love to be a part of revitalizing and getting it back to what it once was.